Ooh. Happy Monday. Hello, Corinne. Hi, Thelma. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Mom. Happy Monday. Thank you for sharing, Miss Thelma. I am getting my technology situated. Hi, Corinne. I'm still adjusting to my new setup a little bit, so it took me an extra minute to get online tonight. But it is coming together. So thank you so much for joining me on this first Mystery Monday of November. Hard to believe we are 2 months away from the start of a new year. Hi, Christy. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining me. All right, my technology is moving slow as always. It must be a Monday. Going to see if I can get this moving here for a minute, but if not, we will just go ahead and get started. Let's see here. All right, well, we will go ahead and get started, and hopefully I'll still be able to see comments if this catches up with me here in a minute. Happy Mystery Monday, everyone. It is Monday, November the 2nd, 2020. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper. And on Mondays, what I like to do is post a supply list earlier in the day if you'd like to stamp along with me, but I don't give you a sneak peek of the card. This morning, I did share a sneak peek of the materials that I was using to make the card. So, without further ado, this is tonight's Mystery Monday card. This is a very simple technique. I thought we'd do quick and simple to start off the month. This is an idea that I saw years ago from Karen Titus, who is on Facebook as Stamping on the Back Porch. She and her husband Tim are from Minnesota, and they are a lot of fun to watch if you haven't checked them out. I really enjoy watching their videos and getting lots of ideas from them. Hi, Erica. Happy Monday. And so this is an idea. I wrote down the directions, but I never actually made the card. So while I was looking for ideas for things to do on my videos, I ran across these notes and decided that this was a good one for tonight. And I thought perhaps we'd take a small break from the Christmas cards. I do have a Christmas card sample to show, but I thought we would make a card that is not Christmas related for the video tonight. And I was so tickled with this one. This morning when I was assembling it, I not only put this one together, I actually put together the supplies that I intended for the video tonight, so I actually had to cut some more. So I really like this quick and simple card. And this is one of my favorite stamp sets in the catalog. This is the Wildly Happy stamp set, and these pencil sketched images of these animals are absolutely adorable. And when this set first made the catalog, this was one that I said immediately, I have to have that. It is just too cute. So I thought we would use that. I also needed to fill out a couple more baby cards in my inventory. So I thought this would be perfect. So I paired that Wildly Happy stamp set with some of the Tasteful Textiles designer series paper, and this is Blushing Bride that it coordinates with. So very simple. A little different from your standard card with a small flap that opens, but I thought this would be a nice idea and slightly different card for you to try tonight. So we will go ahead and get started. For this one, you do not need a whole half sheet of cardstock as you typically do for a card base. For this one, all you need is a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. You can actually get 2 full cards out of 1 sheet of paper because you're going to cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock in half to get 2 of these pieces. And then you can take the remaining piece, cut 1/2 inch off the 8.5 inch side, and then you're going to need a piece that is 8 inches long by 2 3/4 inches wide. So out of 1 sheet of cardstock, you can get 2 of these and 2 of these with just a small scrap left over. So I really like that a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do here tonight is start with this simple quarter panel as my card base. And I have a piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/4 by 4. This is what I call a standard insert. And so the first thing I'm going to do is glue that to my card base. Now, we'll see if my glue is going to work tonight. I'm giving this Stamp and Seal another try this evening because I'm running low on my Stamp and Seal Plus and didn't want to run out in the middle of my video. So we'll see if it cooperates or not. Now, you can use designer series paper for this, but you don't have to. You could use cardstock as well. You could leave the cardstock plain, you could stamp it, or you could emboss it. So there's lots of different options for such a simple card and layout. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I have this piece of cardstock, a matching cardstock that is 8 by 2 3/4. You score it on the 8-inch side at 4. And what I chose to do with this one was I ran it through one of my embossing folders. This is the Wrapped in Texture embossing folder. It's actually a set of 2. You can see I like to label mine so I don't have to go hunting and think, what did that one look like? I don't remember. So I always put a little label on, and so I labeled them 1 and 2. So this is the cute little diamond cluster of dots that I'm using. I thought it went well with a little baby card. And so what I did to emboss this was I opened the folder up and I put my cardstock in. I scored it first, but then I just laid it so that the score mark was at the end of the folder because I don't want to do the whole thing. And then I ran it through my cut and emboss machine, which I'm actually going to show you in a few minutes when I do some stamping here. But I ran it through the machine, and then when I took it out, half of my piece of cardstock was embossed, and that way I could fold it over and just the front panel of this little flap is embossed. So I'm going to glue this on the card next. I am going to use a little more adhesive for this part because I want to make sure this piece does not fall off. So I did not use as much on that first piece of designer series paper. Hi Vicki, thanks for watching. So now I'm going to take this small panel and I'm going to put it on the card base down towards the bottom. It doesn't have to be smack dab at the bottom, but you're going to want to favor the bottom of the card a little bit more for this design. And also make sure you line it up with the edge of your first layer, whether it be your designer series paper or your cardstock. Because if you put it in line with the edge of the card, it's going to look a little off on the right edge because you're a little too far over. And I point that out because I tried to do that earlier and thought, this does not look right. Wait a minute. And luckily I got it back up off the cardstock before it was permanently glued there. So there we go. I guess you could call this a barn door fold perhaps. So the next thing I'm going to do, depending on the color of cardstock you use, you could simply stamp directly on the cardstock on the inside of the flap. Now I recommend stamping on the inside before you glue it down just in case you make a mistake, but you can always cover it up with another piece of cardstock, or if you're using a darker color, you can add an insert. And this piece is 2.5 inches tall by 3 3/4 inches. Now another option that you'll see on some of my samples is instead of embossing this, you could put a piece of designer series paper there instead. So as I said, you have lots and lots of options for how to design your card. And hopefully the samples will help you see that. But I'm going to put this piece on the inside and I'm going to just stamp a little sentiment on it. I am using soft suede. I thought the pink and brown was a nice combination. And so the sentiment I am using is so tiny, so small, so loved by all. Perfect for a little baby card. And I have a red rubber stamp, so I don't need that extra cushion underneath. You guys are probably reciting that with me since you're such faithful watchers. So there is my sentiment. And I decided to just leave that for the inside, no extra accents or anything. If you want to design a card like this, but you want more room to write, what you could do is cut 2 of these pieces that are the 2.5 by 3.75, and glue one on each side of your score line here on this little barn door flap. And that way you could write on the inside cover and then on this piece as well. So just a little tip for you. So again, I'm going to break out the stamp and seal. And attach my insert inside the card. And this is cute, but it needs just a little something else. So what I did was I took one of the dies from our stitched labels set, which has a variety of cute little labels. And I thought that would be perfect for the little bunny image. Not too frilly, but not too plain either. Perfect for a sweet baby card, and really kind of goes with the designer series paper that I chose for this. So I'm going to show you the cut and emboss machine. I have my die from the set, and so I brought over a scrap of Whisper White that I want to stamp on. And I just trimmed it down since it was a scrap, so I knew how big I had to work with. And I have my soft suede ink again. And here's this darling little bunny set. And sometimes I can move the die out of the way. This one, actually I think I will move it out of the way. I'm just gonna center it. Sometimes you can actually, if you're comfortable, stamp with the die there so you can see where your placement is. Hi Mary, happy Monday. Thanks for tuning in. And so our die inks are very quick to dry, so I don't have to worry about the smudging. And what I'm going to do is get my cut and emboss machine and bring it over and show you how I'm going to cut this die cut. This is our new cut and emboss machine, new this year. This is the Big Boss, as I like to call it. We do have a mini, but it is not available quite yet. And I apologize, this really doesn't photograph well on my camera. It's very close to the camera, so. What is great about our cut and emboss machine, I need a bigger workspace, is it folds up for easy transport and storage. So it actually only takes up this much room. I'm still adjusting to this camera angle, can you tell? But when I want to use it, all I have to do is fold down the platform. Ooh, sorry. I need a new lamp for my table. And it comes with platforms with very easy to read directions. All the platforms are numbered. So this is platform number 1. It's at the larger platform. So for die cutting, I need that platform. And I need platform number 2. And then I need a set of our clear panels, and you can tell mine are very well loved. So one of them is what I call a top plate, and one of them is my cutting plate. And you can see it's kind of ugly looking because I've cut lots and lots of die cuts on it, but it does the job. It doesn't have to look pretty. So I'm going to put my cut plate down, and then my paper goes down, and then my die goes down with the ridge side down, or the cut side down as we call it, so the design there. So that goes down, and I'm going to center my little bunny image there. And then my top plate goes on. And then I'm just going to crank the whole thing through the machine. My handle's a little squeaky. And I'm trying not to shake my whole table. Now, one little tip I like to give, I don't know if you can see, really the image is probably cut, but to make sure all the little pieces come out, what I like to do is just change the orientation on the paper positioning, and I'm just going to put that cover plate back on. So nothing's really moved. I've just shifted the angle of the paper, and I'm going to run it back the other way. And then let me move things aside here. When I take my image off the paper, you can see it's cut the entire shape out. And then when I pop it out, almost all the little pieces have come out, and they're either stuck to that bottom cut plate or they're stuck in the die itself. And so I brought over my Take Your Pick tool. This is one of my favorite tools. I very often use the spatula end to help put my embellishments on paper. But what I can do if I have pieces that are stuck is I can just poke them through with the little pointy end, the piercing tool on that Take Your Pick tool. So all the little pieces came out. So this one didn't even give me a bit of trouble really. And then I can also take the pointer and pop out all those little bits and then throw them away. So there's a little handy tip for you. And so there we have our perfectly sweet little die cut image. And so to finish it off, all I need to do is grab some dimensionals. And the one thing to remember is to watch where you put your dimensionals when you are putting the card together. You don't want to put them all over the back of your sentiment piece or your image piece, because if you do that, you're going to glue your whole card shut. So I definitely need to favor the bottom of the image on the back side. So I'm just going to put one dimensional on each of the bottom corners and one slightly higher in the middle. Not a whole lot. And this die is easy because it's got these center cutouts, so I can tell I want to keep my dimensionals below that center point, and that also gives me a point of reference when I'm gluing it to the front of the card. I know to keep that center point below the little barn door flap, because otherwise my dimensionals are going to stick to the top. And when I open it, I can tell my dimensionals are invisible. And so there we have our sweet little baby card. So not too difficult. And as always, I have some more samples to show you. And I had some fun with these today. Let's see. First of all, I went with a masculine card. And this one I kept very simple. You know, guys don't like a lot of frou-frou stuff. So for this one, I let the back panel simply be another piece of cardstock, which I did not emboss, I did not stamp, I just left it plain. But I used designer series paper on the front rather than embossing. And you can see you can use different shapes here. I used the stitch nested labels for that happy birthday. And then I just put a matching sentiment on the inside. Next, I did a wedding card. I let the designer series paper talk on this one. I love this gold foil on our ornate garden paper. So I used one of the ornate frames with the congratulations. I embossed the panel on the back instead of using designer series paper. I didn't want the card to be too busy. And then I just put a simple message inside. And for this card, I added a piece of designer series paper to the envelope flap rather than trying to find an image I liked for the envelope. I just matched the designer series paper there. Now, I was never a huge fan of Cajun Craze, but this designer series paper from our Gilded Autumn suite is making me a fan because I adore this Cajun Craze paper with the gold foil. So for this one, I ran with the Cajun Craze color. I did emboss the front panel here, and again used that ornate frame with an added piece for the happy anniversary. And then I just let that designer series paper speak for itself. And then one last card, I had to make one Christmas card. So here is a Christmas card where I used the Trimming the Town suite and a coordinating stamp set for a bright and cheery Christmas card. And I love this cute little wreath stamp that comes in the Coming Home set to match up with the wreath on the front of the paper. And I even stamped the wreath again on the envelope. So there is our Mystery Monday card. I hope you enjoyed making that card. If you made a sample along with me tonight, I hope you will share it. I would love to see your projects. And I wanted to give you ladies a quick peek at the cards I am featuring in my Christmas Stamp-A-Stack. Normally this is something I do in October in person, but this year with COVID everything is a bit different and virtual. So these are up on my website or on my Faithful Stamper page. But this is a class we are doing via Facebook Live next Saturday. It is $35 to make 25 cards and envelopes, 5 designs, 5 cards each of 5 designs. So I have 3 to show you tonight. This is a quick and easy card with this adorable bell paper. So that's one of the designs. Here is one featuring the Dove of Hope and this beautiful die-cut dove, which is great for Christmas cards as well as sympathy cards, several different occasions. And then the last card features the brand new Curvy Celebrations die set, which this was a set that is being pre-released from our new January to June catalog. Obviously doesn't come out till January, but they have pre-released the set, and you'll be seeing some more information on my Facebook page about this. It debuts tomorrow, and you can see this beautiful curve here with the little cutout circle accents. And there are so many options that you can play with, and there's 2 matching stamp sets. One is Curvy Christmas, and the other is Quite Curvy, which is an all-occasion stamp set. Has some really cute birds if you like bird images, so stay tuned for a lot more samples with that as I have time to make some more. But I wanted to give you a quick glimpse of some of the cards in case you were thinking you might like to do the Stamp-A-Stack with me. So I need to know ASAP if you would like to do this, so that I can get your materials either delivered to you or out in the mail ASAP. So thank you ladies for joining me for Mystery Monday. I will be back on Friday at 8:30 p.m. with the triple time stamping technique. It's one I tried quite some time ago, didn't have the best success with it, so I'm ready to try it again, and I'd love to teach you how to do it as well. So I hope you will come back and join me. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I would love to see any crafty projects you are making. Take care, have a wonderful week, and I'll visit with you again soon. Happy crafting!